Let's go. Come on.
Tonight, it's Live with Vince Elliott.
Live with Vince Elliott.
Tonight on Live with Vince Elliott, author, journalist, and classic TV superfan, Billie Rae Bates.
Billie Rae Bates. I think she's Catwoman.
And keeping the show on track, co-host Erica Mack.
Erica Mack. Who's the Mac? Let's get it.
Y'all know what time it is. It is 7:50. No, I'm sorry. It's 8 o'clock, Erica.
It's 8:02.
Welcome. It's 8:02? Okay,
Yes.
well, you know. I'm just so excited. You know, every week we get to come on here on a Tuesday around about this time and do like we do. This is Live with Vince Elliott. And yes, I am Vince Elliott. And
she is Erica Mack. And welcome to another great Tuesday.
You just going to continue to talk in third person, aren't you? Thank you guys for joining us. Listen, right now, I don't even know how to start, Erica. I want to tell them so bad about who we got on the show tonight because we've never had anybody like this on the show tonight. So I'm going to wait because I know you got something you want to tell people.
Well, I was pretty excited about tonight's guest as well. But we want to remind each and every one of you to go to YouTube and subscribe to The Vince Elliott Show. That is The Vince Elliott on YouTube. And remember to mark the notification for every Tuesday at 7:55, in which that's when you get to see me.
Just you. Okay. I get
No, you get to see us. And so again, that is on The Vince Elliott on YouTube. That is The Vince Elliott on YouTube. So go and subscribe.
That's right. And
it's a great thing to do.
And listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and tease this thing and tell them, if you've got somebody in your family or friend that is a Comic-Con addict, if they are a fan of the old school shows like Dukes of Hazzard, Dynasty, all of these types of 80s shows and things like that, and 70s shows, you want to call them, you want to text them, you want to ask them, get on Live with Vince Elliott tonight. Yeah, I've got author, journalist, TV correspondent, you name it, Batman geek, Catwoman geek, Wonder Woman. I mean, she loves them all, right? She's going to be here tonight. Her name is Billie Rae Bates. And so without further ado, while you're going to tell your family and friends about that, you know what we're going to do. We're going to get right into what? Oh, no, we're not going to do it right now, are we? We got to talk about.
I'm going to ask you about how was your week?
Yeah, well,
okay.
I got off course.
You had a pretty eventful weekend.
I did. Oh my
So,
goodness. So I mentioned last week that I'm working with a company out of London. In fact, they are the largest production company in London, England, and I had the privilege of working with them. They needed some work done here locally,
mm,
but as production goes, the schedule changes, and it's like it might change, today for tomorrow. And so what was interesting about that is that it threw me off of my schedule getting ready for this show and literally
right.
getting ready at the last second, literally all the way up until we're going on air, getting things prepared, for the show. So that was a little bit different than what we normally do.
Oh,
And
so it grew, huh? The project grew?
yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it grew. It's just, continuing on,
Okay.
continuing on.
Got it.
But you know what? I want to hear about your week because I want to see if you're going to mention something that I'm going to mention if you don't.
I don't know what you plan on mentioning, but my week was pretty good. I have guests in my house, and these guests are in COVID school, so therefore we've been doing COVID assignments and things like that. Not that they need a lot of help or anything like that, but they are here and making sure that they're actually signed on. Today I come in and I'm like, "What are you doing?" My teacher ain't said nothing, so your eyes are closed. So yeah, that's been my week.
They were
But
meditating.
you're right.
Yeah,
She
that's
was
what it
in
was.
deep meditation. One's like, "Oh, I'm getting my playlist ready so I can pay attention in class." So that's
Oh,
been my week.
another monumental
But
piece
that was that.
of my week is my wife celebrated a monumental birthday.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
And so, we had a great time honoring
Pretty
her and
awesome of
celebrating
her.
her.
Yes.
But I thought you were going to mention, and I could consider this, I should save this because you're going to do one segment in other news.
I'll do two.
You do too?
I
It
could
doesn't
do
matter. I
two.
mean,
I could squeeze them in.
all right,
But you
well,
can talk about it now because it just I
you
don't
already know
talk
what I'm
about
talking
things
about.
that
Listen, ladies and gentlemen,
that
we're located in Michigan, and our governor, Gretchen Whitmore, better known as Big Gretch, shut it down again as of tomorrow. And
Oh, you
one of
want
the
to talk
things
about
she
that?
shut down was the bowling alley. Now, I'm not
Well,
happy about this, but I just want to know how Erica feels about this whole situation.
yeah. I, I will not express that on live.
As you all know, Erica
You
is a serious
so
bowling fanatic. She
I
has
enjoy
to have
bowling.
her she
That's
enjoys
good.
it immensely. And so she has to have her bowling fix every week. And now Big Gretch says, you're not going to get that bowling itch scratch this week or the next
But
week, the next 3 weeks.
we may actually have a stipulation in there, so we're waiting for a response for that. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because bowling alleys originally didn't open to the public, but league could play just like the basketball and stuff.
Okay.
So that may still be in place. So
Okay. All right. Well, I
fingers
tell you what,
crossed.
listen, we didn't really get to promote tonight's show. Normally I got, considerable amount more people on. I know I can't go by what I see on the live by the ticker, but even that is usually larger than what it is now. And I'm wondering, the fact that we didn't promote it like we normally do is why people forgot, or, hey, you guys need to reach out, put it on your Facebook, put it on your YouTube pages. Live with Vince Elliott is on right now, and for them to join us. In the meantime, it's time for other news. In other news.
And now for news you may or may not be able to use. News other than Trump, COVID, or civil unrest. It's In Other News. Live from one of our remote studios, it's news anchor Erica Mack.
What you got for me, Erica?
And we're back. And so this weekend in other news, we have 10-year-old who donates past summer, he actually donated 619 toys to the Children's Hospital in his local area, which is North Texas. And so that was his first project of giving back to the community. And so then he set out for a new project, and the new project was to donate and get 100,000 meals to the needy. And so he set that goal, and he actually met that goal. So how all this came about was his parents had enter him into a contest, and this particular contest was about kindness, a kindness contest. And so I was just profound. I found it really profound that, first of all, he's a young guy. Not only that his parents recognized that he had a gift of giving, and then they pushed him into that, put him in a contest. Like he literally said, I didn't think anything of it. I was just doing it because it's something I would like to do or wanted to do or whatever the case. But for him to reach his first goal by reaching out to the community, and he met it, and then to turn around, it's like, oh, I saw that. Oh, let's go for something bigger, and to go and do that. So that was
how old is
awesome.
he?
10.
10 years old.
Yes, out of North Texas.
Out of North Texas, and those 619 toys he collected from other people.
Yes, he collected from the community abroad and things like that, and then. Well, and then he was entered into a contest, a kindness contest that his parents entered him to, and they gave him funds to the prize money was to go and fund another project, and so he took it to donate and support to donate meals to the needy.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's why this segment is so great, because people. Well, on the news, we're always hearing all the negative stories. And every now and then you hear one or two, decent stories. They put those at the end. But what sells is the big negative story. So now, we try to make it a point to give you some positive news, some interesting, crazy news. Erica comes up with these stories, guy cutting grass all across the country and all that type of thing. But we appreciate those types of stories. 10-year-old goes and gives away 619 toys, and then he collects $100,000. Is that what you said?
100,000.
100,000 meals. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. At 10 years old.
Yeah, he won a prize through a kindness contest, and from his prize money, his new goal was to feed the needy, and so he was able to collect 100,000 meals from that.
Yeah, he makes me feel like a slacker. I mean,
absolutely. Like, I volunteer, all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I got to get it together. So yes,
that's pretty good. I'm excited.
I was like. So I just wanted to highlight that. But the other thing is, in great American news, good old Pastime Sport has hired its first major league female manager.
In what sport?
America's Pastime. That's
baseball?
MLB. Baseball.
Oh, my goodness. I'm not a big baseball fan, but,
see, that's my other sport that I really enjoy. So,
okay.
Like, I only talk about
team?
stuff I really enjoy.
Team?
So the Marlins out of Florida, they Miami, Florida, they hired their first.
The Marlins. I believe my cousin plays for the Marlins now. Because they came here and beat up on the Tigers. I went to the game and I wasn't too happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
Last year.
Not even like they have the best team, but hey, they're doing well enough to hire a woman, because apparently this is the year of the woman, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not mad.
You're the woman, so they need a little extra guidance.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
only thing I was just gonna say is that she actually she's 52 years old, and she started as an intern in the MLB, and she has literally worked her way up the ranks, and now she is a general manager. Way to go. And
you said, what team is that again?
Miami Marlins.
Okay, he plays for the Seattle Mariners. I knew it was close.
Oh, the Mariners. Okay.
Yeah. See, the names are really close, and I don't follow baseball, so it was easy for me to get them mixed up. So the female, oh, wow, that's awesome. So Yeah, that's going to be interesting. You know, people are going to be watching her like a hawk. You know, they're going to be trying to see if she can be tough on the guys, if she going to spit tobacco or something. You know, they're going to be looking for all of those things. You know, she can't come out there, you know, and be all ladylike because, you know, they're going to have something to say about that. If she's going to come out there and she's, you know, you can't tell whether she's, you know, a grizzly man or not, they still going to talk about it. So, you know, she just got to do her. She got to do the best job she can, not worry about what people think and what they say. But congratulations to her for doing that. Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's it.
Well, all right. Well, listen, folks, I just want to remind you all, first of all, thank you all for tuning in, those who tuned in, and remind you all to get ready with your comments, your questions. We're going to bring our guest on in a little bit, and I want you guys to post in Facebook. Matter of fact, I might go to Facebook right now and see if anybody's posting. Y'all need to be posting and letting people know to check out The Vince Elliott Show because we got a great guest on tonight, and I want you guys to be able to ask her questions about Comic-Con, ask her questions about her books, and how her books, you know, what do her books do exactly, because it's an interesting twist to the type of book she writes. There's not just, you know, these aren't just like novels or romance books or anything like that. So you'll find out. It'll be real interesting, but we'll let you know about all of that right after this. Hey everybody, it's Vince Elliott saying thank you for your support. Real quick, I just want to come on and say a few things real quick. First of all, you guys are amazing because some of you are supporting the show by viewing us every single week. You're financially supporting, you're telling your family and friends, people are going to the YouTube page, subscribing, hitting the notifications bell. We are growing by leaps and bounds. We got a team now. We got Erica Mack, who keeps the show on track, my co-host. We got a producer, super duper producer, Deidre. She's in the background holding it down. And we are now at a place where we are opening the window of opportunity for sponsorship. That's right. If you know of someone who has a business, or if you yourself have a business whose product or service align with our brand, we want to hear from you. Send us an email at thevinceelliott@gmail.com and we will send you the information. We have packages as low as $100 a week. Can't beat that. Those prices are going to go up as our audience grows, so you want to get in where you fit in. Also, if you want to support the show, simply go to the Cash App now there on the screen, $ live with Vince Elliott. 1 L, 1 T in Elliott, so your money gets routed to the right place and gets used appropriately. In the meantime, we will continue to bring you information, education, inspiration, motivation, and yes, a few laughs. Look out for Lil V. He's always trying to get on the show. So in the meantime, let's get back to the show.
Hey, what are we doing today?
Well, just sitting here thinking, man, I got a lot to do. I got to do some stuff for the show, editing for the Live with Vince Elliott show. I've got some household stuff to do for the family. Got this project I'm working on with just a bunch of stuff. I mean, I got to keep it moving, man. It's the only way to do it, the life of an entrepreneur.
No, man, you work too much. You need to take a break. I think you're working too hard.
Oh, here you go. Man, I got to get my grind on, man. It's the way I stay paid.
I don't think you understand. See, every time you work hard, I have to work hard because I'm in your mind and I have to do all that thinking and strategizing and planning and working. What about me? What about me? Cue my music. Cue my music! You see, every time you think about stuff, plan stuff, then I have to do all that work, and my mind is all scrambled. I just want to relax. I need some me time. What about me time?
You know what? You make a good point.
Yeah?
I think I will take a little time for myself.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
What do you want to do?
Hey, let's go get on the swing.
You want to get on the swing?
I want to get on the swing. You push me.
All right, sure. Let's do it.
Oh, come on. Higher. Higher. Come on.
Well, you know, he asked for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Lil
right.
V had it coming, man. You know, he wanted to go higher. I pushed him higher. You know, so I mean, it is what it is. You know, every now and then, you know, he gets what's coming to him. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to get right to it. I'm excited about my guest tonight. She is, I'm going to let her tell you her story, but just to give you a little highlight, she's an author. She's a journalist. She is like, now, before you judge me, hear me out. She's bat crazy. What I mean by that, she loves Batman so much. She's got Batman socks, Batman pants, all types of Batman paraphernalia or memorabilia, Catwoman, all this type of things. You're going to hear about it. You're going to see about it. She goes to Comic-Con and interviews people who are really deep into this stuff. And, you know, I've got two sons who really like this stuff too. So, you know, I know it's a real serious following, fans that love this kind of stuff. And so we've never had anybody on the show like this, Erica. Nobody who's ever come on, nobody's ever come on and talk about the books that they've written. I mean, we've had people come on and talk about Forex. Right. We've had people come on and talk about life insurance and natural health and musicians. We've had guy from Outkast on. I mean, on and on and on. Talk about eye health and everything. But we've never had my next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Billie Rae Bates to the show on Live with Vince Elliott. Come on, Billie Rae.
Hello. Welcome.
Welcome to the show. How are you? And
I'm doing great, thanks.
Well, listen.
After that introduction, I mean, wow.
Well, you know, I want you to just take a few seconds to say whatever it is you want to say to our viewers. Remember, people are watching on the replay as well. Mm-hmm. What is it that you want to say? I mean, if it's just saying hello, I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello and have faith because we're going to get through this.
There you go. Yeah,
wow.
That's a good message. Well, starting off, I mean, you know, I told him that you were bat crazy, meaning you're crazy about the Batman and Catwoman and all them. They're in the background. I see them there, and shortly we'll show some of your memorabilia and all the things you have going on. But I just want to start off with you know, just a general introduction in addition to the introductions we've already done, and just kind of let people know what it is that you do, you know, primarily as it relates to, you know, the author, the journalism, and the Comic-Con.
Yeah, well, I think I'm primarily an author. I've been writing all my life. In fact, when I was a little kid, I was writing little books on ruled paper with pencil. But yeah, definitely a writer first, but just a geeky girl too, a lifelong geek. And so I've had the great privilege of going to Comic-Cons for quite a few years. I want to say, like Motor City Comic Con, for instance, I was going to that back in like 97, 98. San Diego Comic Con, a lot of others, Chicago Comic Con, you know, all over the place, WonderCon, MegaCon in Florida. So I've been doing that for a long time, interviewing professionals in the comic book industry, a lot of artists, a lot of writers, and I've worked for a couple different TV shows. I worked for a TV show when I lived in Washington, D.C., a DC-based TV show, and then I've worked for a TV show based in Detroit, too, doing interviews and discussing all kinds of fun geeky things. So I've had a lot of fun with that over the years.
And just for those who may not know, just explain what Comic-Con and MegaCon and all these things are in a nutshell.
Well, con stands for convention, and it's a place for fans to gather and share the love of not just comic books. I mean, there's always a lot of comic book vendors, for instance, and then comic book artists and writers and things where they're, you know, drawing on commission or meeting and greeting fans, but just geekdom in general. I mean, the Comic-Con circuit has exploded so much in the past 10 years or so. It used to be just a few of us going, you know,
really?
Like, for instance, Motor City Comic Con in Novi. Oh my gosh. 10, 15 years ago, that was a totally different event. And now it's just like you go on Saturday and you can't even move because it's exploded so much. So many people are going because it's fun. It's fun, especially the cosplay aspect. I've cosplayed before at that event too with my friends Andrea and Don.
You did what?
Cosplay.
What is that?
It's when you dress up as your favorite character. It could be a superhero, it could be a cartoon character, it could be anime, it could be a TV show character. Daryl from The Walking Dead. You always see some Daryls walking around when you go to a Comic-Con. Just anybody that is an inspiration for you. You put a costume together or you buy a costume and you wear it to a Comic-Con.
Wow. Grown people playing dress up like it's Halloween.
Of course. Well, you remember Halloween being so fun when you were a kid. So,
yeah.
So
why not do that as an adult? There it is.
How did you get involved in Comic-Con?
I think way back when, it probably was my friend Rob. He's had a website for a long, long time that covers the comic book industry. And so way back when, we were both working at one of the daily newspapers in Detroit, one of the big dailies. And that's how his website launched. And so we would go to events and interview people, take their picture, have it just for the website to get content for the website. Basically covering the comic book industry for the website. So I think that's probably how it started. And, I've gone on my own a lot over the years too, to these events.
Yeah. So from that, did it evolve into the journalism aspect of your
Actually, I was a journalist first. It sort of was an offshoot of my journalism. I graduated with a degree in journalism from Michigan State and then went into the newspaper business. And I worked for a newspaper in Wausau, Wisconsin and Saginaw, Michigan, the Saginaw News, loved it there. And then went to the Detroit News here in Detroit. So yeah, I spent quite a few years in the daily newspaper business, and journalism has always been my major career, although I've done all sorts of communications at different places over the years. But really going to Comic-Cons and covering them and taking photos of people and talking to people, doing interviews and stuff was more, I guess, a side effect of my journalism career, something kind of on the side that I would do, almost like a hobby.
How many people would you say attend like Comic-Con? Because I've known people, I hear people like talk about it and speak on it, and they're like, oh, like you said, CosCon, like they're like, I have to get my costume and things like that. And I'm like, who does that? But
you don't have to wear a costume.
But no,
this is fun. I mean, it's
fun serious business.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I have no idea. You probably could find out if you went to, like, for instance, the Motor City Comic Con's website. They might say, how many people, but I know it's thousands. Like, it runs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the Detroit edition. Now, if you're talking like San Diego Comic Con, oh my gosh, that is the biggest, and it's craziness for 5 or 6 days. And it's so crazy that if you go to it, I went to it to cover it as a media person, right? But if you go as an attendee, you really have to prioritize. I tell people, at least right now, maybe someday it will calm down. I think it will calm down someday, but the way that it has been for the past 5 to 10 years is if you go, like you pick, like you're going Friday and Saturday, you pick 2 or 3 things you want to do that day. Because you're going to be waiting in line to get into the hall where the event is hosted. Like if you want to see somebody speak from The Walking Dead, for instance, which is hugely popular, you're going to wait in line an hour or 2 to just get into the room to sit down. And so unless you want to just walk around and look at vendors and look at the costumes and everything, you really have to prioritize what you want to do because it is that crazy.
So they've got everything imaginable. You can meet the writers. I would imagine you can meet do you meet like the producers of, like if it's a television show and all that type of thing?
Everybody, San Diego in particular, if you're a fan of one of the bigger shows that they're promoting really heavily, they bring everybody to that con. They bring a whole team of people. You might go to a panel discussion for The Walking Dead or, whatever other show is really hot. and you see like 7 or 8 people who do something for the show, cast members, writers, producers, whatever. They bring a lot of people, and it's like they bring their heavy guns to San Diego to reach the fans. Although, I'm talking pre-pandemic for all of this.
Right.
The pandemic has, of course, probably change things. I don't know. I mean, we'll see moving forward, but I'm talking all 2020, pre-2020 for this stuff.
So when is this like usually held? I'm, and I was definitely late to this. So when do they usually hold the San Diego one?
That one has been in July and August, summer time frame. And then the Motor City Comic Con happens in May. Some of them switch around. I've gone to the Baltimore Comic Con a number of years, and it seems like they have switched the time frame like almost every year. Awesome Con in DC, I went to that one a few times. That's a great con that kind of popped out of nowhere and has become really big. And that one has happened at different times of the year too. So I think they try to coordinate too, because they don't want to be on the same weekend as, another really big show, because it's gotten so popular that any given weekend pre-pandemic, you could go to a show somewhere, a big show somewhere in the country. So.
Now, do they ever have it in Vegas?
I think there have been Vegas cons. I have not been to a Vegas con, but I think there have been.
Well, there's definitely some Vegas cons. I'm just saying, has the conference been You see how I played on the word, a con, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, no, but I say Vegas because, we went to Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters, the NAB. And, Vegas is known for holding those large conferences and things like that, So from what you're saying, it sounds like it's really big, and that would be a great place to host it.
And, that has come up. I remember when I did go to San Diego, gosh, when was it? 2007, I want to say, 2011. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But I remember there had been discussions around, I guess the rumors going around is that they were trying to look at another location for it because they kind of got locked in there. For instance, if you want to go, again, pre-pandemic, you almost had to book a hotel room like a year in advance.
Wow.
Definitely several months in advance. I mean, they just book right up. And so I hear that they had been thinking about other cities as options, but
okay.
I don't know if anything will ever come of it.
We want to show a few pictures of your collection. First of all, of your Batman and Catwoman collection that you have. It's actually behind you, but we can't really see it that good. So we're gonna put up a couple pictures here to see them. So let's see. You got this, and you got that, and let's see what else you got. Let's see. Yeah. Look at all of those. And then, of course, a wide shot of, and that picture really doesn't do justice to how many you actually have. I mean, this is just, you've got them in other rooms and all over the place in the house. So.
Yeah, I've got probably between 50 and 60 of just the action figures. And then I've got all kinds of other Batgirl stuff because that's my primary collection is Batgirl.
Where do you find these Batgirl?
People find them for me. A lot of them I never purchase. I would say probably 70% someone else got for me. My friend Mike sees them because he's like really hooked into the collectibles market and the comic book industry and all of that. And so he sees right when they're going to come out, like when they're announced, he sees the news of them. Mm-hmm. And then just for Christmas, my brother and his family and, anybody I know in my life is always buying this stuff for me, finding Batgirls.
So we want to put up a few pictures and as we scroll through them, you tell us what we're looking at. All right. I'm going to have my producer just put up a few and then maybe 10, 15 seconds per picture. You tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, that was when I worked for the Comics Continuum. That was the Detroit-based TV show. It is still going. And this was probably, this might have been like 2010 or something. And that also, same thing. And we were at some con. I can't remember which one this was. I think that might have been San Diego, because I try to only wear the same dress at one time. So I think that black dress was San Diego. And that would be too. And that actually is one of the props, I guess you'd say, for the Green Lantern movie that had come out that year, 2010 or 2011. It might have been 2011. And that is San Diego Comic. Actually, WonderCon. Yeah, that was WonderCon. It's part of the same con family, so you see the logos for both of them. But that is Brandon Routh. Oh my gosh, he was so handsome in real life. And that was before he did the CW shows. He had done the Superman movie that was not well received. And then he did a movie called Dylan Dog. And that's what we were talking about, was the Dylan Dog movie, which I don't think many people saw. But then after that, he would go on to wider recognition, I think, for the CW series, Arrow and all of that.
So anybody who's really into it, they know who these people are.
Yeah, I think so. Brandon Routh is a pretty big character in geekdom. He plays the Arrow, right, on the Arrow series. Yeah. Oh, and then yeah, I'm interviewing. That's at Baltimore Comic Con. A very talented artist there. And that, oh gosh, that's John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard. And that
it sure is.
Yeah,
I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, he actually looks really good still. So
yeah, I'm not as concerned about that as you are.
He looks the same, but oh my gosh, yeah, he's handsome. But yeah, that was I think that was MegaCon in Florida when we got to interview him for the Comics Continuum show. Yeah.
I used to watch Dukes of Hazzard a lot. Yeah.
And then this was a Green Lantern animated series that came out, The Emerald Knights, but that is Wade Williams, and he did a voice in that. But I know him best from, if you ever remember, a show called Prison Break back in the early 2000s, I think it was. He was like the
I didn't watch it a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, he was like the bad warden, the really, evil warden. But he's such a good actor. Oh, that I really enjoyed that interview because I had liked him so much before meeting him. Oh, and that's a replica of the Dragula from the Munsters, Grandpa's coffin car from one of the Munsters movies. My friend Mike built that. And you can see there actually is a coffin there, and it doesn't actually run though. It was basically for show, but he had brought it to the Motor City Comic Con. That's the Motor City Comic Con. I want to say that's like 2012 or 2013. He didn't own that for very long. I think he sold it after that.
I bet he did.
And that is the greatest group ever. That is the Fantastic Forum. A few people from the Fantastic Forum TV show. And that is at Awesome Con. That's what you see behind us in the background is Awesome Con at the Convention Center there in downtown DC. That was a few years ago too. Yeah, we're having fun in between shoots, I guess. And there's me just goofing around, finding my buddy there at the Motor City Comic Con because I love wearing that shirt. And the Yvonne Craig Batgirl costume that I have, yes.
That's you in the purple?
That is me in the Batgirl costume. Yeah, that's cosplaying. And that's at Motor City Comic Con. My friend Andrea is in the Catwoman costume. And my friend Don is Batman. And then that's my friend Tony that you see standing there with us without a costume on.
Oh my goodness! I should have thought to invite ex coworker of mine, a guy by the name of Scott. I told you he wears Batman socks just to work on any given day. Scott Cornell. Yeah, he loves Batman.
And this is a promo for the Fantastic Forum, and one of the episodes that we did shoot at Awesome Con. We've shot episodes there like 3 or 4 different years, but that was one of the episodes. We had an all-female panel discussing the issue of misogyny in comics. So that's us getting all tough for the promo. And there's another promo for Fantastic Forum. That was at a comic shop in Virginia. So we're just goofing off there. Those are great guys. I miss those guys a lot. And there's an interview that I did, Mark Nathan, evidently, from Baltimore Comic Con for Free Comic Book Day. and another promo shot from Fantastic Forum. A few more. Ulysses Campbell is the producer, director, creator of that show, and he just finds all kinds of great people to serve on the panel. So those are even more different faces that are involved with the TV show. The TV show does still go on, although I don't think they've had new episodes recently. Yuli's been concentrating on the radio component of the show, so he does like a regular radio broadcast these days.
Okay, let's pause on the pictures for a second there, and because you do more than just go to Comic-Con, we want to talk about the books and all the great things you got going on and what you've done in the past and that type of thing. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's just take a quick little break just to remind people that we need their support and that we can't do this show without you. So if you haven't heard, if you don't know, this show survives off of the contribution of the viewers. And so we ask people to give as little as $5 a month. We do have a few people who are faithful, and we are thankful for you guys who give on a regular basis. They give monthly. Some people might give $25 a month or something like that, and a few people even give a couple people even give $50 a month. So yeah, if you find this show valuable with the information that we give, and as you can tell, especially if you go to our YouTube page, we cover a variety of topics, helpful information for entrepreneurs, for your health, for just about everybody. We've got some information. If you tune into our show, we're on every Tuesday at 7:55. So we're going to take a little quick break, and then we're going to come right back with Billie Rae Bates. Kick it. Hey everybody, it's Vince Elliott saying thank you for your support. Real quick, I just wanted to come on and say a few things real quick. First of all, you guys are amazing because some of you are supporting the show by viewing us every single week. You're financially supporting, you're telling your family and friends, people are going to the YouTube page, subscribing, hitting the notifications bell. We are growing by leaps and bounds. We got a team now. We got Erica Mack, who keeps the show on track, my co-host. We got a producer, super duper producer, Deidre. She's in the background holding it down. And we are now at a place where we are opening the window of opportunity for sponsorship. That's right. If you know of someone who has a business, or if you yourself have a business whose product or service align with our brand, we want to hear from you. Send us an email at thevinceelliott@gmail.com, and we will send you the information. We have packages as low as $100 a week. Can't beat that. Those prices are going to go up as our audience grows, so you want to get in where you fit in. Also, if you want to support the show, simply go to the Cash App now there on the screen, $live with Vince Elliott. 1 L, 1 T in Elliott, so your money gets routed to the right place and gets used appropriately. In the meantime, we will continue to bring you information, education, inspiration, motivation, and yes, a few laughs. Look out for Lil V. He's always trying to get on the show. So in the meantime, let's get back to the show.
And we're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. That's right. We're back. We are all the way live. This is Live with Vince Elliott. I am Vince Elliott.
And she is Erica Mack.
I just do that on purpose. I do that on purpose because it just cracks me up every time she says, because this all started because I would say, it's Live with Vince Elliott. I'm Vince Elliott, and she is, and then she would say Erica Mack. And so I just stopped saying she is, and she started plugging it in. And I'm like, you're talking in third person. That's not how it works. But she just loves to do it, and it's just funny to me. Anyway, We are on with Billie Rae Bates. The fans go wild. Billie Rae Bates is an author. She is a journalist. She is all that in a bag of chips, and she's bat crazy. That's right, bat crazy. She loves Batman, Catwoman. She probably has on Batman socks right now, and she is got she's got see Batman pants. Oh my goodness, Robin socks. You see what I'm saying when I say bat crazy? I'm not trying to insult her. I'm saying she's crazy about Batman. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I have in my closet.
And she's got enough Batman. Do you call them Batman dolls? What do you call them?
They're action figures.
Action figures. Silly me, right?
Okay,
she's got enough action figures to scare a burglar away, right? All she has to do is just stack a bunch of them up and shine a light, and a big shadow just comes out, and all these guys are looking crazy over the curtain. That'd be a great idea. Yeah. All right, so I want to get right back into some of the things we haven't talked about. You have your own YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I started out doing some of the celebrity interviews that I've done at different events, not just Comic Cons, but just autograph shows and stuff. I started loading those on my YouTube a few years ago, and then gosh, how many? I think it was like 2013. I started a collectibles series on YouTube, and TV, like classic television, is a major love of mine and the source of a lot of my writing.
And apparently a
over the
lot of other
years.
people's too, because you got over 2,000 subscribers already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The collectibles series, the first one that I started up on YouTube focuses on collectibles and toys that are related to TV shows, generally classic TV shows, like memorabilia that they had available at the time that the show was on the air, you know, like either action figures or jigsaw puzzles or a deck of playing cards or, you know, whatever kind of Viewmaster reels, stuff like that. So I've highlighted a lot of collectibles on that series, but, you know, I have so much other stuff, not just TV related, but from music and movies and comic books and whatever else. And so I do a second collectible series that's called Terrific Non-TV Toys, as opposed to Terrific TV Toys, that highlights everything else, you know, like Star Wars, from the Star Wars movies, and just all kinds of crazy stuff.
So
I love it.
They can get all that. Now, if they go to BillieRae.com, they'll get the link to the YouTube as well as other information.
Yeah. My BillieRae.com, my one main site is just basically a portal that leads to a bunch of different other sites that I have, including the YouTube and the individual toy series.
Okay.
So you're an author.
Yep.
And so, what type of books have you authored, and like how many books have you authored, should I say?
Let's see. In print right now, I think I got 3 novels and about 7 of what I call my pop culture reference guides that are all based on classic TV shows I loved, generally stuff that I loved growing up as a kid. A lot of 80s, 1970s and 80s. And actually there's one show that I wrote a book on called Green Hornet from 1966. That was the earliest show that I covered. But a lot of the stuff that I've loved over the years, loved to watch, I've done TV show, like basically reference guides to those shows.
Okay. And so as we look at a couple of those, my producer bring a couple of those up. So would this be similar to, you know how when they play a classic movie on TV and they have people hosting and they say, we're going to watch, you know, It's a Wonderful Life. And then in between they say these fun facts, or they'll have them across the bottom of the screen and they'll say this actor originally was not chosen for the part, and they give you all these fun facts. Is this what this is similar to?
Yeah, I think you could compare it to that, because it definitely takes the TV show and kind of covers it from a journalistic standpoint, but provides a lot of reference to it, you know, like a cast list for each show, a character guide, an episode guide, and a lot of trivia information and a lot of interviews, whoever I could track down from the show, whether it's a cast member or a writer or someone else involved in the show. I've done a lot of interviews of people, you know, attached to these shows over the years. And so it's just a lot of stuff thrown together, but designed to be a reference guide so that if you're watching Dallas, you know, the original Dallas, of course they did a newer Dallas, the original Dallas, and, you know, you're wondering about that episode, or you're wondering about somebody who appeared in that episode, you can look it up in the book and find extra little. So yeah, in that way, it's similar to what you're thinking, like with the extra little tidbits at the bottom of the screen when you're viewing.
Yeah, that's cool. So now, it sounds like what's happening is when you interview these people at Comic-Con or wherever you catch them, you're not only getting the video interview, but you're also taking excerpts from the interview and putting them in the book.
That has happened a lot. Yeah, I've encountered, because, you know, a lot of these stars of classic TV shows, they're on the con circuit, again, pre-pandemic, but, you know, they go to these cons, they go to autograph shows, and they have a table, and you can walk up and chat with them and buy an autograph photo. And yeah, that's where I've done a lot of interviews. And if it is an area that I've covered, yeah, I add it to the book.
Yeah. So
So,
go ahead.
well, I was going to say in these books, I know, like, there's seasons to these TV shows. So the books actually cover the seasons.
Yes, yeah. Like for instance, the episode guide will have all the episodes arranged in the order that they aired, season by season, with the date, the title of the episode, and then my synopsis that I've written about it, and then just fun stuff like notable guest stars that you may not have realized was in there, because that to me is a tremendously fun part of watching these shows. Like for instance, I rewatched the Chips show couple months ago. My friend Tracy had gotten me the DVD set for Chips, and so I sat down and watched that show for the first time since I was a little kid. And I had a crush on Eric Estrada.
Yeah.
I think every woman did.
Honestly, I really watched that show.
Oh my gosh. And he came to Motor City Comic Con one year, and it was absolutely crazy, but don't let me digress. So I rewatched.
She's back in that moment right now.
He was just on fire at that con. But rewatching the episodes as an adult, you notice different things, and it's amazing to watch who did guest spots and who, they had people who were recurring characters. Like the actor who played Worf on Star Trek: The Next Generation was one of the patrol cops on Chips for like a season and a half. I'm like, what? That's Worf. That's crazy. And so I didn't know that when I was a kid. And so that's like a lot of fun watching those shows and seeing that.
That's some dedication right there. You're right. To actually reference all the seasons and put all that together. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. To me, it's geeky fun. It's not really like work. It probably should be work, but it doesn't seem like it to me.
Now, let me ask this question. You collect the Batman figures that we showed earlier. You collect, Catwoman. What other characters do you collect?
Well, Batman himself. I also have a lot of Scooby-Doo stuff. My friend, I have a friend who's very skilled at the, like when you go to the grocery store, you go to the mall and you see like the crane game or the claw game, the claw that comes down. And they've had a lot of Scooby plush in those machines over the years. And so I've got just a bazillion Scooby plush because he's very good at getting those out of the claw games. So yeah, a lot of Scooby. And I do collect, I'm kind of looking around my basement as I'm saying this. I do collect quite a bit of Star Trek, like original Star Trek series. That's always my favorite.
Now, wait a minute. Now, I'm not a Trekkie. First of all, I'm not a Trekkie. But I know how serious that is.
Yeah.
So now you need to identify if you're a serious Trekkie as well, or are you just a moderate.
I'm moderate these days. I first discovered the original series when it was on a syndicated station when I was a teenager growing up in mid-Michigan. They had it airing on like Channel 66 or something, which I think might have been out of Flint at the time. But I watched it on there, one of those channels, and I discovered it. And I'm like, oh, this is a great show. I should have watched this a long time ago. But if you do the thing?
Can you do the thing? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Wow, no problem.
No, but I do not. I don't cosplay Star Trek. And if you ask me, like, okay, what happened in such and such an episode, and blah blah blah, I probably can't tell you because I don't watch the episodes regularly. But I have a passing knowledge at least, and I've always loved the show. And William Shatner, I love William Shatner.
Wow.
I just can't help myself.
So now, when these collections, are you collecting just, random, or are you collecting like, do you have like, they only made so many of these? You collecting these antiques or
the limited edition stuff, I think you're thinking of. Sometimes, but just because I try to get everything Batgirl, I'm kind of on a lifelong quest to own every kind of Batgirl thing, and it's more difficult nowadays than it used to be. When I was growing up, there was hardly anything Batgirl, but now it's like she's everywhere. So there's a lot of limited edition stuff that comes out, like from DC Collectibles, that pops up. But I don't, I wouldn't normally seek it out, no, because I don't I don't get stuff to sell it, and people don't give me stuff to sell it. When I'm gone, somebody's going to have a big mess to deal with because, I don't buy anything to resell. I just buy it to have it because I love it.
Wow. So now what about the comic books? Do you collect the comic books at all?
I do. I have, I think 4 or 5 of the long cardboard boxes of comics that long, which is not in, exorbitant amount. Like my brother, if you ask my brother, he's like one of those people who say, yeah, I have 40,000 comics.
Yeah.
That's not me. I have a few that I like. I've had a few, that I've had since childhood. My grandparents used to buy us comics all the time. So I got some great 1970s comics from when I was a kid.
One of my longest, oldest friends, not that he's old, I'm just saying, I've been friends for a very long time. He collected comic books, and the challenge that he ran into, and I'm sure that other people run into, is once you decide you want to give them up, you don't want to sell. People just want to, they want to pick and choose what they want. He wants to sell the entire collection. It's hard to get people to buy the entire collection.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, because you don't want duplicates for one thing. If you're a hardcore collector, you do want to hand pick certain things, unless you just decide, okay, I want to own a bunch of comic books. Let me buy a collection, which I wouldn't think happens very often.
Yeah. Now I was handed 2 comic books from Mr. T. He came out, he only came out with 3 editions or something like that, 2 or 3. I had the first edition. I met him at a radio station.
Wow.
and he handed, now, because I wasn't into it, I didn't know, should I open it up and have him sign it? But I thought, well, maybe this is going to be worth something one day. So I left him in the plastic, didn't have him sign it.
Oh.
I lost one somewhere where, I was living with my sister at one point when I was younger. And then the other one, I don't know, it's around here somewhere. But every time I look it up every few years or so. It's only worth about the same amount it was.
It would have been worth more if you would have had him sign it. If you watch Pawn Stars, they talk about stuff like that quite often.
Oh, wow.
His signature on it would have actually made it worth something.
Wow. I wish I'd have known that then. I would have had him sign both of them.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I blew that one.
Not because you just love Batgirl, but besides Batgirl, why is DC better than Marvel?
Oh gosh.
That question.
It's an eternal question because it's like DC or Marvel, McDonald's or Burger King, Coke or Pepsi, Star Trek or Star Wars. And I've always told people I'm like 70% Star Trek, 30% Star Wars. So I would say, as far as Marvel does do great big screen movies. They've just kicked butt on the X-Men movies over the years, and even the Spider-Man and everything else, Iron Man and all that. So I give them a lot of credit, and I used to watch the Incredible Hulk TV show when I was a kid, so I loved that too. But I would say I'm like probably 80% DC and 20% Marvel. But with DC, I don't know. I mean, comparing them, they're both really doing the same thing, but with different characters. But if you look at the movies, like the DC movies, like Batman and Superman versus the Marvel movies, there's a little different approach and philosophy that you can notice to it too, but they're all good.
Oh my goodness. Well, you have proven that you are definitely dedicated to this whole world that's strange to us, down to the socks even. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time just that quick. I want to thank you, Billie Rae Bates. I like saying that name, Billie Rae.
Oh, I know. It's very
My good friend Billie Rae came on the show, and she don't even have a twang to her accent. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for that insight into a world that I know nothing about, very little about at best. And we want to make sure that people know how to, check out your YouTube channel. We got the website up there. Now we got the YouTube channel up. So all they got to do is go to that YouTube channel, and they can get you. How often do you post?
Well, I'm going to post tomorrow morning, actually. Usually once every other week. The Collectibles series I do twice a month, and then occasionally I'll throw in an interview or something, but generally twice a month.
All right, check her out. And then also you can subscribe to the YouTube page, but you can go to this website as well, and you'll get information about the books, right? The books. Yep. You'll also get the link to the YouTube page, so you can get everything if you go to BillieRae.com. That's BillieRae.com. Billie Rae. I like saying Billie Rae. BillieRae. You see it on the screen. Billie Rae is going to make sure you get all the information you can on those vintage shows. And she's a lover of classic TV. Billie Rae, would you hang around for us just for a few minutes backstage while my co-host and I close it out? We appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about our time. And
it is. It was good. I wanted to, I wish I was like a comic enthusiast. I would be able to really get deep with someone who has vast knowledge. I'm like surface knowledge, so this happened and that happened. So yeah, but I like to talk to individuals who enjoy the comics.
Yeah,
because their perspective, it'd be so deep. I'd be like, you saw all that in that.
Listen, I wish there was a way I could have her and my good buddy Scott Cornell in the room at the same time. She's wearing Robin socks. He's wearing Batman socks. She's got on Batman pants. He's come to work in his Batman suit before, but we were having a special occasion. Right. And so, he's serious about that. I think I saw him pictures with a Batman car or something too. I don't know if he owns one, but at any rate, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that you can support the work that we do here by simply, going to the Cash App. It's $ Live with Vince Elliott, and there's one L and one T in Elliott. And if you don't do the Cash App thing, then you can go and do the Zelle, not Zelly, right? Zelle. Put in that email address and send us a gazillion dollars to make this show so we can market this show and give all this wonderful information to a lot of people. So I'm going to challenge anybody that's watching on the replay today. I'm challenging my replay folks along with my live folks to see how many people just want to show some love. I know, times the COVID and all that other thing, but I'm just looking for a few good people. When I say a few, I don't mean three. I mean, I'm talking like a lot of people, right? Who will just be willing to send $5 today. That's all I'm looking for. $5 today. $5. Send $5 to the Cash App, $ Live with Vince Elliott. Help support the show. That'll help pay for a subscription or something. Help keep the lights on when we got all these lights shining on so we look good. Do we look good? What? Erica was showing off earlier. Anyway. All right, Erica, you got the last word. What you got?
Well, absolutely. Good. Thanks for joining us again. Always remember that we are nothing without God, and this show is nothing without you. So please make sure that you subscribe, and not only subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can come on and make sure that you're asking your questions and commenting on the segments every Tuesdays at 7:55. We'll see you back next Tuesday at 7:55.
Peace.